Hi, I'm Scott Wrighton. I serve as Decatur City Manager, and every week you can use this link or this video to learn a little bit more about what's going on with your city government. So at its last meeting, the Mayor and City Council adopted a new budget for 2024. Under the law, we have to have a balanced budget adopted prior to the beginning of the fiscal year. We're not the federal government. We can't have large deficit budgets and wait months into the new fiscal year before our governing body adopts a budget. So please know that your mayor and city council are being fiscally responsible in the way that they all do that. One of the key things I want to mention, because it's more than $250 million budget, so I could talk days about different aspects of the budget, but I want to focus in on a couple of key features that might be of interest to our citizens. The first is that although especially public safety pensions, but other things too, are driving up property taxes relentlessly every single year, the city council still said, yeah, we know, and that's a problem. It's our largest unfunded mandate that the city deals with. We still want to be sensitive to our taxpayers, and so even though I had recommended a slightly higher rate, the city council decided to adjust the property taxes by only 3%. Now I want to put that number into context a little bit. The equalized assessed values in the city of Decatur actually went up by close to 12%. And as a result of that increase, which hadn't happened to that degree in many years, Macon County government sent out, as is their responsibility to do, a notice to all property owners in Macon County, including those in the city of Decatur, that the equalized assessed value, theoretically 1/3 of fair market value of their properties, had gone up. And unfortunately, that same notice also said, if in fact, or assumes that if in fact all of the different taxing bodies pass tax levy ordinances that are also up by 12%, then here's what your taxes would be. And because that wasn't explained, because that wasn't put in context, there was a lot of negative reaction, and I understand why, because nobody wants their property taxes to go up by that amount. So those notices are not indicative of what taxes will go up by, and they are not tax bills. The county will issue tax bills in the spring of 2024 that are due in June, and what that actual tax rate will be is only one of the features has to do with the equalized assessed value. By far the most important factor in determining what your property taxes are next spring will be what the collective increase of all these property taxing entities do. The school district is over half of the levy, and all the other taxing bodies combined are less than half the property tax levy. Recently, Decatur Public Schools District 61 increased their levy by between 8.5% and 9%. So they didn't take the full 12% either, but they took a much larger increase than the city did at 3%. So if the other taxing bodies in the city of Decatur are more prudent and scale it back a little bit, as the city has done, then that should reflect a fairly modest increase in taxes in the spring. If more taxing bodies do what the school district did and take it on the higher end, then that would have a predictable impact. So I think it's important that taxpayers understand, number one, the conservative approach that the mayor and city council took in the current circumstances, and the fact that the city is really only 15% of the levy, and to look to all those taxing bodies in the aggregate to really see and to predict what property taxes will be in the spring. Second, I'd like to talk a little bit about garbage fees. Unfortunately, when the TV only has 15 or 20 seconds to deal with an issue, they can't deal with it completely, which is particularly unfortunate when we have something as complex as the garbage fees to deal with. So that's why I'm glad that you're tuning in, because we have more time in videos like this to talk about the details of it. Yes, the rate will go from $19 a month, which is what it's been for over 2.5 years, to $23.50. But it's important to say is that the cart rental fees and some of the other miscellaneous fees that the haulers were charging you all go away. And in some cases, the removal of those extra fees may more than offset the first year's increase. That's really an important consideration, and I think mitigates to a large extent some of the things that the media has exaggerated about the amount of the rate hike. There are three major what I can call operational changes that you'll see. The first is that everybody has to have one of these heavy plastic wheeled carts, either 64-gallon or 96-gallon or some combination of them, one for garbage, one for recycling. And as they wear out, it is the hauler's responsibility at no additional charge to you and other customers to replace it. Now, if you already have one, you can choose to use it as long as it meets the specifications, or if you don't want to use it, you can use it for yard waste or something else. It belongs to you if you own it. And then you can call your hauler and ask them to bring you a new one. Regardless of the size, 64-gallon or 96-gallon, the price is the same for the monthly rate. And really the only difference would be if you're someone maybe who has a hard time pushing one of the larger carts, don't think that you need that larger size, but the fee is the same. So everybody has to use one of those carts. And we think that's going to really clean up some of the neighborhoods, because some of these smaller, cheaper containers that don't stand up as well, I think, contribute to some of the blowing debris that we have and animals getting into it and spreading around the neighborhoods. And so in city after city that we've studied where everybody's using the same kind of cart, it makes collection not only more orderly, but it also makes the neighborhoods a little bit cleaner. The second major change is that about 6% of our customers, really mostly Waste Management's customers, GFL has a few, but about 6% of customers have their garbage picked up in their alleys. And over the next several months, and people who have alley pickup will get direct information from their hauler, but you'll have to transition in most cases to having to bring your cart out to the street instead. Now we realize that there's a few locations where just because of the terrain or the access off the main street or something like that, that it's not practical, and we'll leave most of those decisions to the haulers. But in most cases, collection in the alleys is going to be ending in favor of street pickup. The third major change has to do with yard waste. So basic service that the $23.50 bill is for on a monthly basis, although it's billed to you every other month, it covers once a week garbage pickup, once a week recycling pickup, bulky waste or large item pickup 5 times a year, and for each of those 5, you can have 5 large furniture or appliance items. You can still leave out more than that, but if you do, there's going to be an overage charge. But that 5 times 5 items each time is part of your basic service. And the last part of basic service is yard waste. And there'll be 6 weeks in the spring, 6 weeks in the fall, as it has been now. But if you want premium service or yard waste that goes beyond that basic service, you can contact not only your assigned hauler, but any hauler you like. Get the best deal you can for a premium service if that's what you want. The haulers are required by the new ordinance to post the details of their premium yard waste services with the city in January of each year so that we can make that information available to you as well. So that's a lot for today's video, but I look forward to giving you some more information about some of the other decisions the City Council made at its last meeting when we do next week's video. Thanks for tuning in.